Devil fruit, O mighty devil fruit, please show me the secrets that lie beneath your swirly exterior. Nay, show me the path that I must walk in this life to become truly enlightened. It's like a fortune cookie. Buggy is God. Well, I already knew that! Newsflash, Barry. Buggy is God. Is there anybody living on this planet that doesn't know that already? Alright, fine. If nothing else, it seems like my path in life is already set. This was my credo before, and it's the true path, so whatever. I guess it all worked out, right? Hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking and Barry back again. Just give me a second to close up this devil fruit Pokeball thing I have going on here, and then there we go. Pokeball, go! You just chuck a devil fruit at a Charmander. And you just get sucked in. Alright, so there's a lot of devil fruits in One Piece. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but last time I checked, ballpark estimate, there are 133 canon devil fruits in the One Piece story and 48 additional ones that are non-canon, plus 3 that are also SBS, leading to a grand total of... Okay, now that's just a grand total. Okay, that's not me not knowing. That's just me sucking at math. So 133 plus 48 plus 3 arrives at that number, whatever it happens to be. Probably somewhere in the 200 range. I don't know. There's a lot of devil fruits, okay? Now, we, of course, do not know the name of every single devil fruit, so that's what today's video is going to be about. We're going to be going through some devil fruit powers. Most of these have been confirmed as devil fruit powers. There's like 1 or 2 on here that have kind of like, maybe. And there's even a few on here, like I put Raizo on this list just because of the scroll thing. I'm not even going to detail with Raizo because I feel like I've mentioned it in like 3 videos I've done in like the last month alone. But yeah, Raizo with the scroll thing that he used against Kaido, it's like, could be a devil fruit. Like out of all the ninja in Wano, his seems to be the most likely to be a devil fruit, okay? In which case, if Raizo does turn out to have a devil fruit, let's just give him the scroll fruit. He has the power to summon giant scrolls and store things in scrolls and send things out of scrolls. That seems like a pretty effective ability. Or it might just be a devil fruit ability that allows him to store anything he wants into other things. You know, and he just chooses scrolls because he's a ninja, so of course he would pick scrolls, okay? But that's something we just don't know about. But all the other ones on here, with the exception of one other, is pretty much confirmed to be a devil fruit at this point. We just don't know the name of it. Let's start off with the supernovas, because there's a lot of them that we don't know the devil fruits of yet, and a lot of them that have been prominent in the story, especially in Wano. So Kid and Apu are the big ones that kind of come to mind right away. Kid we've been following for quite a bit now in Wano. You know, he was in the Udon prison with Luffy, and then the whole thing with Killer, and now they're at the Battle of Onigashima. We don't know where they're located right now specifically in Muffin Mountain, but they're there, and they're fighting, and they're having a rollicking good time, because, you know, Kid and Killer, they're very punk rock, and that's just kind of their deal. So Kid, of course, has a Paramecia devil fruit. I think that's pretty much confirmed at this point. It is a Paramecia that allows him to control magnetic forces. So he can activate his magnetism and draw a bunch of scrap metal around him, and he creates a giant metallic arm that he can use to like punch Apu or crush Apu or slap Apu into the side of a wall. Anything that involves hurting Apu, Kid can do with his devil fruit, because that's pretty much what we've seen him utilize it for up until now. Barry, I'm going to put this devil fruit on your head if it fits. And it does! Okay, cool. So anyway, yeah. Kid's ability is probably going to just be, like, the magnet fruit, but the question is, how come Oda hasn't revealed it yet? Really what it comes down to, and why a lot of these have not been revealed yet, and why they haven't been named yet. Like, I think Oda waits for a particular moment for that character, like, for example, when Beiji's fruit was first revealed, when he had, like, betrayed Peckham's at Zou. Like, that was his big moment, and of course, Beiji became a very prominent character during Totland, right? So it's like, I'm not just gonna give you the Supernova's devil fruits like all at once. I'm sure Oda could have easily done that back at Sabaody. Like, most of their devil fruits were revealed there anyway, so I'm pretty sure he could have done that. But he's like, no, because in the new world, in the next part of One Piece after the time skip, every arc, like when the Straw Hats face off against a Yonko, there's gonna be some supernovas there helping them out or being an obstacle to them, and that is going to be the point where I really reveal what their fruits are called. So we didn't find out about Beiji's until Totland when he became a relevant character, okay? We didn't find out about Laws until Punk Hazard when he became more of a relevant character than he already was, you know what I mean? So the confusing thing here, for me anyway, is not so much Kid, because Kid has had some action so far. He had his, like, Punk Rotten and everything, you know, that combo attack he did with Luffy and Law out at sea outside of Onigashima. That was pretty epic, but we've yet to have, like, a straight up fight where it's like Kid against somebody. Like, yeah, we had that with Apu, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking like it's gonna be like multiple chapters. This is gonna be Kid's, like, not to abuse a term here because, you know, the Straw Hats are fighting against Kaido's crew, but a headlining kind of event. You know what I mean? Like, this is Kid's big show. This is his thing where he's going up against one of the Flying Six. Like, it's Kid versus Who's Who. And it's like, that's gonna be the battle, alright? That's gonna be his big epic brawl there. Kid might also brawl against Kaido directly. They might fight against somebody else and then go up against Kaido. We might find out about it there. But there's the high point for Kid during Wano. That hasn't arrived yet, okay? And when that moment does arrive, that'll be the moment when Oda reveals his Devil Fruit name. And with a lot of these on this list, at this point, it really doesn't matter, because it's like, okay, we know Kid's Devil Fruit is magnet-based, is magnetism, okay? We know what it is. So it's not like it's going to be revealed to be something completely different that we didn't understand. It's going to be a magnet-based Devil Fruit, right? Just like Apu's is a musical-based Devil Fruit. Now, it might not be called the music no mi, or it might be called, like, the note no mi, or the beat fruit. That would be really cool. The thing is, oh, by the way Devil Fruits are named follow a very specific structure in Japanese. I'm sure a lot of you could figure that out. You know, gomu. It's like the different syllables that exist or the different characters. That's the reason why I was always curious why, like, Perona's Devil Fruit, why is it the Horo no Mi, the Hollow fruit, when it could have just been, like, the Ghost fruit, right? Because she controls ghosts. And it's like, well, because translating ghost into Japanese doesn't immediately equal out to, like, the naming scheme that Oda is going with. So Oda actually has to get kind of clever with some of them. Some of them are easier than others, like Mera, the flame fruit. A lot of times they're just onomatopoeia, like the sound that something makes. Like Jozu's fruit is the Kira no Mi, or the Sparkle fruit. And it's like the onomatopoeia for things that are like glistening or sparkling, like diamonds. So hence why Jozu has the Kira no Mi and not the diamond fruit. So Oda has to get clever with like onomatopoeias and stuff. So I'm not as adept with that because I'm not Japanese. I don't know how to speak it all that well other than just really basic stuff. So instead of like magnetism, maybe it could be like the sound of like, I don't know, is there an onomatopoeia for like electrical, like bzz, 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 you know, like electrical sparky kind of sound effects? Goro no Mi, which is Eneru's, I know that's the rumble. So once again, Eneru does not have the lightning fruit. He has the rumble fruit, the sound that thunder makes. So that's kind of where we're going with the naming scheme, right? So it might not very well be the magnet fruit if the magnet, you know, translation doesn't equal out. It might be like the bzz bzz sound effect, or it might be like the clank sound effect, although I think Oda might have already used that one before. Like the sound of like metal things like clanking together, or like maybe like rusted objects like, you know, like gears turning or something like that. It might be something like that, but it also might have been used already, so I'm not 100% sure. But Kids is definitely going to be revealed at some point in Wano, as well as with Apu. The thing about Apu that I was curious about, though, is because Apu had plenty of moments during this arc already where he was going up against everybody and he's using his music fruit. We had the moment where he first shows off against Luffy and they get cut and Zoro gets cut, Luffy gets freaking explodified, right? And it's like, Arrow, close your ears, you know, to protect you. And then in one of the more recent chapters, we had Apu using his music, his fighting music, to actually revive the numbers. And he's like, you know, up, check it out. And he's like, I can revive them with my fighting beats. And it's like, that would have been the perfect time right then and there to show us, to reveal his Devil Fruit name. I think that would have been ideal. But Oda still hasn't done it yet. So I think the reason for that is there's still moments. If nothing else, it's a good way to tell. It's like, okay, if Apu has not had his chance to reveal his Devil Fruit name yet, or like the title box hasn't revealed it yet, then there's still something really big coming down the pipeline with Apu, which makes sense because right now he's running around the freaking Onigashima Hall with the antibody for the Ice Oni virus forests, and everybody's chasing after him. So he's still going to have a moment, probably against Zoro, because Zoro's going to go up against him too, and that's when we'll finally find out the name of his fruit. But let me know down below on what you think of Kid and Apu's and all these devil fruits I'm going to talk about here today. Next up, we have Arouge. All right, Arouge is, we don't get a lot of screen time with Arouge. His devil fruit has something to do with retribution or karmic punishment. So he gets hit, and that seems to be the trigger for this devil fruit. So it's one of the ones that have to have a very specific thing to happen to the user in order for them to use their devil fruit. Seems to be the situation. Every time he uses the power of this fruit, whatever it's called, he has to get hit first by some sort of force. Okay, he gets hit, and then he activates the power, and he gets super ripped. He, like, you know, grows several times his own size, and it lets out a mighty punch to whoever, you know, attacked him. So this happened with the Pacifistas. This happened with Bullet in Stampedo. This happened in the anime-only little scene with Cracker, you know. So we get to see this happen. Now, there's a few ways this could go down. So it's probably a Paramecias. Same thing with Apu. Same thing with Kid. These are probably mostly all Paramecias. So a few ways to look at this. Number one way of looking at it is that he can grow to a large size whenever he takes any kind of damage. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot of damage. It's just any damage that's given onto him, he can then increase his own power exponentially. The drawback is he can't do it on his own. He has to receive damage, and there's probably like a cooldown period or something. I don't think he could just like take damage, and then after he powers up, he takes more damage, and he gets even bigger, and then he takes more damage like freaking Yami from Bleach. You know, I don't think it's anything like that. He gets hit, he grows big, and if he gets defeated once he's really big, he can't, you know, grow even bigger than that. He's pretty much just defeated at that point, okay? So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is he takes on the damage, like the power, the energy that was, you know, used to damage him, and he converts that into pure battle power, right? And it's just like he has to grow larger muscles and a larger stature to really absorb all that power and to really reflect it back on the opponent. Something like that. I don't know what this would be called exactly, because it's a little bit more... There might be even other stuff with his fruit that we don't know about yet, but it could be like, because he's a monk and everything like that, being the karma fruit. Like, he's like, you have damaged me? Well, I shall inflict that damage, that karma, back onto yourself, because I am a monk, but I'm also a battle monk! Bam! And just punches him in the face. So, like, karma fruit, something like that, or like the absorption. I don't know what the onomatopoeia for, like, absorbing things is. It's that sound effect in Pokemon whenever you use, like, Leech Life or something, or that Mega Drain or Giga Drain, you know? It's just like the... It's that sound effect right there. Yeah, that's the sound effect that Arouge's Devil Fruit is going to be representative of, right? But anyway, yeah. That's Arouge. It's a little bit more ambiguous exactly what happens, but he does grow bigger and he does grow stronger for a limited period of time, right? It's just the adrenaline fruit. I don't know, but that's his power. Then we have Bonnie, just continuing on with the supernovas. Bonnie's is a little bit easier to kind of like narrow down, okay? Easily a Paramecia. And it is the ability to control the ages of herself and anybody, like, in her immediate vicinity. It seems to have a range to it. She doesn't need to physically touch somebody to activate it. She was on top of a building at Sabaody, and she was able to use her powers to manipulate the ages of a bunch of the Marines down below. So some she turned into little kids, and some she turned into old men that couldn't even fight, you know? So, yeah, it doesn't... And she was, like, laughing her ass off on top of the building, like, ha 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 ha! So she was like, I am the Lord of Time! Except you're not, because Toki is more of the Lord of Time, but, you know, the aging thing. So, I think Bonnie's is really simple to just call, like, the age fruit. I think that one could probably translate pretty easily, because it's not a very... It doesn't seem very complex. I think that one could translate to a devil fruit pretty easily in terms of naming. So I'm just gonna go with that. And it probably just has a range where it's kind of like Law's room, where, you know, Bonnie has to open up a perimeter around her, or it's only within, like... She can only manipulate people within, like, I don't know, like, a few yards or something, and it's just... Well, I guess it would have to be more than that, because she was on top of a building. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like a sphere around her. That seems to be the situation. There might be a time limit on this for how many times, like, she regresses people back into, like, being children. It only lasts like 10 minutes, and then they you know, progress back to their original age. Could be something like that. Not really exactly sure. She can also manipulate her own age, so she manipulated herself to be very old, you know, the Dowager Queen Connie, in order to get into the Reverie, in order to get into Marijois. She, you know, took on that appearance, which may very well be her actual appearance. Because of the nature of her devil fruit, Oda revealed that her age that she usually appears in is like in her 20s, but her actual age might be a lot older. She might be like Queen Dowager Connie, like 95 years old, but utilizing the power of her devil fruit, she can regress to look like she was in her 20s, and she could stay like that, you know, indefinitely. She might still, like, die regularly of, like, natural causes, but it's like being able to be whatever age you want in the intermediate, like, of your normal lifespan, okay? I don't think she can, like, live forever or whatever, but she can stay, like, young forever, okay? That's, like, her power. So moving on, let's talk about, you know what, let's talk about Lafitte, because I always forget about freaking Lafitte. Lafitte, the navigator of Blackbeard's crew, of course, has the ability to transform into some kind of winged being. So, right away, you just want to say it's a zone. He has, like, the pigeon zone, or the Hattori zone, you know, or something like that. The dove zone, and that's all. Because we see him turning his arms into wings, and that's all we've seen. So that's, like, maybe his hybrid form from what we can see. We've never seen him go into his full form or anything like that. So, so far, it's a zone, but let's try to think a little bit outside the box here. Let's go beyond just a regular bird zone, in which case Pell was really wrong with that statement when he was like, there are only 5 devil fruits that allow you to fly. I'm like, I made a whole video on flying devil fruits. It's way higher than 5. So Pell was really wrong on that. I'm sorry, buddy. But at any rate, yeah, it could be a mythical zone for Lafitte. Mythical zone model angel. That's getting kind of, like, divine into this thing, like, but hey, if we have, like, freaking Oni and stuff running around Wano, I mean, or, you know, ancient giants, or, like, the clones of Punk Hazard that resemble Oni, why not have angels, or whatever, you know what I mean? Or, how about this? I don't actually know about this. This might not fit too well, but if we already have a human-human fruit, and we have a human-human fruit model Daibutsu, which is the Buddha, which, Sengoku has, is it possible that Lafitte might have a human-human fruit, like, model Skypian? So he can create wings just like the Skypians have wings, but I don't think that fits too well because the Skypians' wings are on their back. They're not, like, actual bird people. They're just humans that have, like, wings on their back, right? So I don't think that would fit too well, but, you know, the Skypians are, a lot of times, are compared to angels, and that was a big part of that arc, you know, that aesthetic, you know, gods and angels and whatnot. So, I don't know. You could just give him a very basic zone, like I have the dove zone. I can turn into a dove, you know, it's useful to fly. It doesn't give me that crazy battle power, but it does allow me to fly, which is very useful for Lafitte. And he's also a big tap dancing fan, so I guess that'd be useful there. He can tap dance wherever he wants now. Or it could be something mythical. That could be always a twist, like it was actually an angel the entire time, so his real power has something. He has the ability to fly, but just like how Sengoku has the ability to turn into a giant golden Buddha, he also has the power to do his shockwaves. Might be something like that with Lafitte, where he can turn into an angel, he can fly, but also he can like rain down holy divine light on everything and like blind people. It's like, I can't see, too much light. You know, it might be something like that. Maybe, possibly, not really sure. I guess we'll have to see more from Lafitte. But I always forget talking about Lafitte because he kind of like, you know, even when he was original member of the Blackbeard crew, he just kind of in the background. His most like, you know, forefront appearance in the story was when he showed up at Marijois doing his little tap dance and be like, hello everybody, would you like to hear this marvelous new warlord candidate by the name of Marshall D. Teach? You know, that was like his big moment in the story, and ever since then he's just kind of been in the background, you know. But Lafitte's time to shine will come at some point. Dragon! Not this dragon, we'll get to him, but also this dragon. So, dragon's fruit, Logia or Paramecia? I made a video about this. In fact, I've made a video about a lot of these, but, like, either way, it's ridiculously overpowered regardless. Logia makes a lot of sense because maybe he can turn into the wind itself. It's a wind Logia or the cloud Logia, and he could just manipulate clouds, or if you control the wind, you could basically just control the weather itself, right? Yeah, with a little bit of anime manga science trickled on there. You control the wind, you just like, bring in the storm clouds, bring in the hurricanes, bring in the tornadoes, the thunder, the lightning, the boom booms, and then boom, you're done, right? So it could be a Logia. Also, could be a paramecia just to control storms in general, like the storm fruit. Either way, Dragon has one of the simply the strongest fruits in the entire story. Like, you know, from what we've seen him do with it, the little that we've seen him do with it, it's incredibly OP, and it might even rival the Gura Gura no Mi. You know, Sengoku talked about the Gura Gura no Mi, Whitebeard's fruit, that it was able to destroy the entire world if he wanted to, but Sengoku never mentioned, like, that's the only fruit that could do that. That's the only fruit that has the power to destroy the world, or Whitebeard alone has the power to destroy the world. No, he didn't phrase it like that. He just like, this man has the power to destroy the world. So, in that regard, if Garp, not Garp, I don't know where Garp came from. Does Garp have a devil fruit? Why did that come from? But no, if Dragon had a devil fruit that had the ability to control the weather, or, you know, like just the wind or clouds or whatever we see him do, on larger scales, that could definitely destroy the world, or at least, like, wipe out a lot of humanity along the ways, just through hurricanes, you know, huge freaking supercell thunderstorms. You know, he could do all that crap whenever he wanted, you know, like Storm's power from X-Men, be pretty damn powerful. Just in terms of, like, the way it would sound, I really like the storm fruit, and of course I'm going off of English translations here, but I think the storm fruit would just sound way cooler than the wind fruit or the cloud fruit or something like that. But guess we'll have to see on that one. But dragons, it could go either way. Or, I mean, I guess it could even technically be a zone. Like, it's not impossible. It could have a mythical zone that gives him the ability to turn into some animal that we just haven't seen yet, but also gives him the extra ability to control the weather, because that's what mythical zones do. They give you the ability to turn into a mythical animal, and then give you a bonus power that's more similar to paramecias or other kind of devil fruit types, okay? That's why mythical zones are so rare. And they are very rare, but if anybody in this planet would have one, you know, Sengoku, Fleet Admiral of the Marines, he has a mythical. Marco, 1st Division Commander of Whitebeard's crew, he had a mythical. Yeah, I could see Dragon, leader of the Revolutionary Army, also having a mythical. The question is, what form would he take? What mythical creature could Dragon possibly turn into? Griffin. He ate the griffin fruit. You know what? I laugh at that, but okay. I think it's very unlikely it's a mythical zone. I'm throwing that out there as an idea, because it could be, but I really think it's going to be Paramecia or Logia. But if Oda was going to go down the route of it being a mythical zone, how hilarious would it be for Dragon's form to not be a dragon? That would be great. There are plenty of other mythical creatures all across different forms of mythology that have the ability to control the weather. All right, so he could turn into the Thunderbird from Native American lore, right? It's just like, I am Monkey D. Dragon. I will now take my mythical zone form, and everyone's like, holy crap, he's gonna turn into an actual dragon. And it's just like, turns into a bird, just a giant epic flowing bird, and it's like, ah, well, that's not a dragon, but oh my god, we're still gonna die. You know, it could be something like that. Would be pretty damn awesome. The Thunderbird, I like that idea. So that's dragons. What's next? Let's see, Kaido. Let's just lead into Kaido, because we're already talking about dragons. Okay, so once again, I've done a lot of videos about this, so we'll just do brief here. At this point in the story, we still do not know the name of Kaido's devil fruit. Very unusual, because we know at this point he is a duck, of course, so he should definitely have the duck zone. But no, he clearly turns into a dragon. Why hasn't Oda revealed this yet? Well, they might just be waiting for that big high moment. The moment where maybe Luffy and Law and Kid all show up and Zoro's there and they all go to fight Kaido, and then Kaido lets out a mighty roar, and then that's where, like, Act 3 ends. But Act 3 ends with, like, the title card over Kaido. You know, Kaido, ruler of the 100 Beast Pirates, user of the mythical Dragon, the Ryu no Mi. BAM! Act 3 over, you know, and then it's like, that's what they have to face off against. Could be that, or it could be the old flipperoo, the old switcheroo, where he doesn't actually have a dragon zone, he is a dragon, and just has the ability to turn into an Oni or some kind of ancient giant zone or something like that. Still probably a zone power, given the fact that, you know, Kaido's crew is all centered around zones, so he might have a zone as well, but this might just be Oda's way of spinning it a bit, like, oh, you thought he did have the Ryu no Mi, but in actuality he had the Oni no Mi, and he was a dragon. dragon. Also, I just want to bring this up. I'm going to dust this one off a little bit. Because I did bring this up when Kaido first turned into a dragon, and I was just, like, curious. Dragons used to exist in the One Piece world. They are not mythical creatures like the Buddha or, like, the Phoenix that purportedly maybe never existed in One Piece. No, dragons apparently were a thing. Like, they really existed at one point, you know, because Ryuma slayed a dragon, and I think back in the day, the Celestial Dragons really had, like, a bunch of dragons they rode around on. Vegapunk was genetically engineering dragons at Punk Hazard. I think there had to be a basis for that. He couldn't just make them out of nothing. Maybe the Celestial Dragons gave Vegapunk, like, here's a scrap of authentic dragon DNA. You know, from way back during the Void Century, we saved this dragon DNA. This is all that's left. Take this DNA and reproduce the dragons that we used to ride upon and, like, rule the world. That's why the symbol of the Tenryubito is a dragon, you know, hoof print, right? So, if dragons really existed, they're extinct. That makes them ancient, not mythical. So that might just be the twist, too. The twist might be he is a regular, well, Kaido is not really regular human, but, you know, he is a descendant of the ancient giant race, which is why he looks so built and ripped, and he's got the horns and everything, and he does have a dragon zone, but it's not a mythical dragon zone, it's just an ancient dragon, because dragons used to exist. So, maybe, who knows? But yeah, that's Kaido. Not gonna go more into him, because we kind of, you know, already have at length. Karasu. Oh man, Karasu's is so weird. Alright, so Karasu has the ability to turn into a murder of crows. Very intimidating just on its own. I have no idea. I really don't. I really want to say it's not a zone because it is operating completely differently than any other zone we have seen in this story, right? The ability to not just turn into a single animal, but a group, a murder of crows, and you can apparently make not as many as infinite crows! That's Karasu's ability! I can make infinite crows! He just keeps throwing crows at the enemy. Cax! Ka! You will eventually run out of bullets, or you will run out of arrows. I have infinite crows! You know? There's a limit to how many crows. He turns his physical body into crows. So this is why I really like Artor's take on this. When Artor and Gemini did the Return to Reverie chapters that I reviewed earlier this year, you had a scene with Karasu revealing his Devil Fruit to not be a zone, but actually a Logia. Because if you think about it, yeah, it is kind of more similar to that, where he breaks up his body and turns it into a substance, but it's not a substance like mud or snow or fire or smoke or anything like that. It's a living thing. But are they living things? So the way Artor spun this was, it was tar. It was a tar Logia, and using the tar, he could mold it because he was an awakened, he could mold it into whatever shape he wanted, and he chose crows. He can make, like, living things out of it. Now, this is all just headcanon stuff that Artor came up with for the, you know, Return to Reverie and everything like that, and it was drawn by Gemini, but that is a cool way of looking at it, right? Because if Karasu is a zone, it's gonna be like, we're gonna have another category here. You know what I mean? Like, we had Paramecia, Special Paramecia, Zone, Ancient Zone, Mythical Zone. Karasu's gonna have to be like a special zone, because Ancient Zones don't do that. Maybe a Mythical Zone would, but I'm trying to think. It's so fundamentally different. Even Mythical Zones still adhere to the regular form, hybrid form, full animal form. Even the Mythicals still abide by that. Right? Marco still is a regular human, turns into a hybrid phoenix, and then a full phoenix, okay? We haven't seen Sengoku's hybrid Buddha form yet, though. Oh, that would be cool. It would probably just be his regular height, like he wouldn't grow bigger, but, you know, Sengoku would just, you know, have, like, a gold armor surrounding him, and that would probably just be all it was there. So I doubt it's even mythical. So if he is a zone, it would have to be Special Zone. I'm definitely leaning more toward Logia. It might not be tar, it might be some other substance that he can just mold into whatever he wants, but yeah, Karasu's is very interesting. Kanjuro's doing a lot of K's now. Kaido, Kanjuro, Karasu. So Kanjuro's is the ability to take his brush and he can paint, and he brings his paintings to life. I kind of like the brush fruit, or whatever thereof, maybe the onomatopoeia for the sound of, like, a brush. I should start an ASMR channel, you know, just have, like, a brush and just... I can't do it. I don't have a brush on standby. Do I have a brush on standby? I do not, but I have, like, this little dice box thing. Hold on, let me try this. It would be, I don't know, Maybe something maybe similar to this onomatopoeia, like... Yeah, whatever Japanese onomatopoeia it is for that, that's what it is, okay? Because I think the brush has more of a dedication to this ability rather than the ink itself or the drawings themselves. Maybe you could say it's like, you know, the art fruit in general. Oh, no, that's Jola's. So that's the reason. It can't be the art fruit because that's Jola's. So it might be either the ink fruit, using ink to bring your creations to life, or it could be the brush fruit, using the brush itself. Like, you need to have a brush in order to make this work. Or you can use your own hair. Kanjuro can use his own hair for his devil fruit as well. So that could also be a thing. But, yeah, it's gonna be the... fruit. Yeah, that's Kanjuro's, right? And then finally, last person I put on this list, just because it seems a little inconsistent, and I don't think this person has a devil fruit now, but originally it was assumed that she did, and that is Reiju, Sanji's sister. When it was revealed in I think an edition of the magazine, like shortly after Reiju's first appearance, it was during Totland, where in the magazine, it did mention that Reiju, or at least hinted at, she had a devil fruit. Actually, I don't think it was hinted at. I think it did say that she had a devil fruit. And it's some kind of poison devil fruit, or maybe a butterfly zone, and she can absorb poison through her zone or whatever. But she did have a devil fruit. Later on, when we got the Vivra cards for all the Germa, no mention of devil fruit was made at all, which is weird. And then, of course, later on, you see that all of the other Germa siblings, yeah, Ichiji can control, like, combustion, but he doesn't have a devil fruit. Same thing with Niji with electricity. He has no devil fruit. It's just the basics of their raid suits and their body modifications that they're able to handle electricity and combustion. So I don't think Reiju has a devil fruit. If she did, I would prefer it to be some kind of zone, some kind of, like, Mushi no Mi, an insect zone that allowed her to become a butterfly that could absorb poison. You know, like she sucked the poison out of Luffy, you know what I mean? So I would prefer that to just like a random paramecia, like a poison paramecia, because that's kind of Magellan's thing already. You know, so I think it would be a zone, but I really don't think she has a devil fruit now. I think it's just her body modifications plus the raid suit that transformed her into poison pink. And I think that's it. Whether this be like a miscommunication with the magazine, because it's not like Oda is like writing the magazine himself, right? So maybe somebody assumed it, or wires got crossed somewhere. But at the moment right now, I don't think Reiju has one. But it is interesting to note, because at one point we did think that it was kind of confirmed that she did, which is a little weird. Let me know any ones that I forgot in the comments below. Probably a really obvious one that I'm forgetting, but what are you gonna do? And let me know about the whole Kaido thing, the dragon thing, Karasu thing. Those are probably the ones that are the most mysterious out of all of them, that we are, like, kind of confirmed that there are devil fruits in play. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, Buggy is God. It will be your mantra in life. Bye.